Hello there. Today I am going to be making some yogurt, homemade yogurt with you today. I'm just going to show you what I do. It's pretty quick to make it, and this is what it comes out to be. Delicious homemade yogurt. And what I like to do, like right now my stomach is funny and it really helps me, is to put some vanilla. Oops, can you see that? I'm in the kitchen, so it's kind of hard. There we go. Some vanilla in there if you just want to have a little bit for a healthy snack. And I'm just trying to get the thing open right now, so hold on. I don't really have the camera every single place I move in here, so I have it over by like the Instant Pot and everything I'm going to use. And eventually, I don't know, I'll probably get it set up better in here, but just bear with me. This is something I really didn't think I was going to bring in my kitchen at all to do, and not until everything was like perfect. And I don't always feel like not only not sticking my face in there and having to put makeup on and stuff. A little bit of honey, and this is what you got. Whoops, voila, and it's really good. But I figure I have so many things I can show you that I do just on a regular basis that might be helpful that I see other people are doing. So now that I'm munching your ear. This is what I do. And a lot of people are afraid to make yogurt. I was terrified. This is an Instant Pot. I don't necessarily make it in the Instant Pot. What I do is I heat up the milk, and I have 4 cups of 2% milk in here. You can use whatever you want. It's the length of time that the milk is being made is what's going to make the consistency. So in other words, if you have whole milk, it doesn't have to sit, I guess it's called ferment, sit for long. If you have 2% milk, it can sit less time. And if you have 1% milk, if you have 2% milk, it has to sit longer. And if you have 1% milk, it sits even longer. And I guess even fat-free. And I don't know about all the other ones, but so this is my yogurt maker. Actually, I'm just about to wash out the other jar to put it in, but I'll do that while the yogurt is heating up. The milk is heating up in the Instant Pot. And so I have the 4 cups of milk. I have a yogurt starter. Now this is just one jar, one of these jars I just showed you. They're about 6 ounces, but if yours doesn't fill all the way up to 6 ounces when you make them, because I end up filling it up to about here, and then there's a little wee on the top. So I'll just make sure I measure a measuring cup. It's about 3/4 of a cup of yogurt you need. And I just put it in here once it's done, and I put it in the freezer, and that's why you can see it's so watery. But it doesn't matter, believe it or not. It has everything it needs to make these 7 jars of yogurt. So I'm going to put the jar back with the other jars, and then I have a measuring cup, so I can just double check the milk, because I just kind of dumped it in. I know it's a quart size container, but I might have been a little bit over with it. And I think that's about it. So let's get started. Now I'm just leaving this yogurt out. I took it out last night to defrost. I'm going to leave it out to get it room temperature. I just feel like that's a little bit better for it. Some people will tell you should anyway, but I think it's better for it. Once you get the milk to a certain temperature, and you have to wait till it drops from the 180 point, you don't want to make it too cold, I think so. So here's the milk, and let's hope it's all defrosted, because this thing, I was afraid there was ice in it. So I'm going to pour it out and see if... Yeah, I get everything I need from the 2%. And I find when I use the jarred yogurt maker that it comes out a bit thicker. And not only do I get a lot of nice whey in there for each of the jars, like when I want to make a smoothie or something, but I can make Greek yogurt, which I use as a sour cream sometimes, though I miss sour cream, I think. This is perfectly 4 cups. Oh, my hair over it. And it's defrosted, yay. That it really doesn't matter if I'm using such a lower fat milk. So I'm going to pour this in. And I hold on to this because then when it comes out of here, I stir the starter in, pour it in here, and use it to measure the milk with the yogurt starter in each of the jars. So then, very simple, I just take my, I gotta put the milk in here because I wash it and use it so often. So I let it dry, slightly damp, instead of pushing it in there when it's not completely dry on the rubber, which is, kind of hard to get, of course, drying with a towel. So anyway, I got this in there, and you don't have to put it to up here. Just leave it to vented, because you're not using pressure to do this. And I'm going to move this around here just so I can put the cover on. So, cover goes on. I locked it. Now, this is the part where I used to get confused and get scared to even use this. It seems weird. You just plug it in, and there's not really much thought process to it, so if you see it jumping around all over, don't get scared. I push, I'll make sure you can see. I push yogurt, then I push yogurt again, and it hits boil. Now that means it's going to boil the milk to the appropriate temperature it needs to boil to make yogurt. And, okay, now it's telling me that that's what it's doing. It's getting it ready to boil it. So, it's making a weird noise. My things always make weird noise. I've dropped this on the ground, so. I don't think I have to keep you on here while I'm waiting. Yeah, it'll take a while before it starts doing everything it has to do. I believe it just goes from boil to then when it'll beep when it's finished and say end. It is what it does. I can get into it more with you how to make it in the Instant Pot next time, because that would scare me. So now what do? Now that I've pulled the milk off, all you'd really do is just put it back in with the starter in it instead of putting it in jars. Put the inner part back in, because I take it out to cool off, which takes about 20-25 minutes, and I use a thermometer, and I take it down to about 110, and it starts at about 180 once this heats it up. But you can just put it back in once it's the right temperature with the starter, of course. After the temperature's dropped, you put the starter in. And then you just push yogurt, and what it'll do, it'll ask you how much time you want to put it on. Just put it on the time, and that's it. And it knows, it can sense the temperature that the milk is, and it starts counting down on time versus running over to boil it again. So that's where this thing is pretty dang sophisticated. So I think I can pause you until this thing is done heating up, and then I'll show you how to put it into the jars. And if there's something else that I see it switched to, I'll come back here. But I'm going to wash out this jar so I can finish putting it into the yogurt maker and be ready for that when it comes out. Okay, it just went beep about 6 times, and it did beep about halfway through. Believe it or not, I think if I timed it, it definitely wasn't more than 15 minutes. So it's really quick to do the 4 cups in here. If you did 8, it probably would take longer, but so yes, it showed the boil thing like I showed you, and make it this other way, and then it beeped probably about 10 minutes later, and it only took about 5 minutes for it to finish, and then it said end. So I'm going to just take the top off. There's no pressure to release. Woo! Now this is when it's really hot. So it is already off. So now we can just unplug it. Ouch! Burn myself. And I'm going to take it out of here. Let me get a hot pad. Oh, I just dropped something. I dropped the insert to my nice little thing. This is just my hot pad here. I'm going to move this back a little bit and take it out and put it on here so it can start cooling. And here we go. Let's do it. Take this video. Oh. Okay, I think I'm going to move this Instant Pot too, because I don't need it anymore. Let me get out. Not for this particular batch, the way we're doing it. Like I said, I'll do another one showing you just using the Instant Pot. So, what I'm going to do is just show you what the milk is measuring at now, so you know. I have my food thermometer here. And it's reading at, yeah, like I said, close to 180. You can't see that darn in here. Let me see. There you go. It just went out. What is it at now? Oh, 94. That doesn't help. All right, let me do it again for you. All right, if you can watch that. See how, in other words, the milk is really hot. And that's amazing in the short amount of time. Can you see it now? Let me see. Here's a light. Darn it, I'm trying to show you. There we go. In a short amount of time, it heated the milk up. I'm not showing you very well, but anyway, trust me. If you couldn't see it, I don't know. It heated it up pretty fast. So now I'm just going to rinse this off, this thermometer a little bit. And it takes about 25 minutes for it to cool down to, I've timed it, to the temperature needed, which is about 110. It's okay to be a little bit higher. You don't want to go a little bit lower though. For it to be the right temperature for me to put the starter in. So I'm going to pause it as I let it just sit there and cool on its own, and I'll come back and show you the temperature when it's, well, hopefully you'll be able to see. Okay, the timer went off, and I checked the temperature about 5 minutes ago, and it was 118. And now it is 110 exactly. No, 111, which is close, 112. So, instead of trying to show you, I'll just tell you what the temperature is. I'm sure you know how to put a temperature, a food thermometer inside of food substances, so I won't bore you there. But it's about 112, so by the time I'm done washing this thermometer and putting it back up on the fridge, it'll get down to about 110. Now, there is a film that kind of forms on the top of the milk, and I was chewing on it the other day because I actually wanted to have some plain yogurt where I usually put it into my smoothies. So if you want, you can take it out. It's actually easy to do it right when the milk comes out of the Instant Pot to cool, but it's about that much. It's not a big deal. So now I have the starter. I'm going to take the starter, just stir it up a little bit. Make sure I've got all the yogurt nice and combined. Pour it in here. And just get a spoon so I can stir it together. Just use a tablespoon. Stir it up. Now all the starter is in the milk. So we've got the milk warm enough, so once the bacteria, the good bacteria from the yogurt that was already made, I always save 1 jar or 1 tablespoon if I'm doing it in here of yogurt, 3 tablespoons for my bread machine that does yogurt. But I always save it, and let me pour a little bit more of this in here. And then I'm just going to pour it into, oh, can you see that? No, I can't. Let me move this back here. I'm going to pour it into the measuring cup. Do that there. There we go. It's kind of neat. I have this little corner I can do this in, so I will get more personal down the road. I've done many videos, of course, where I'm right in it, but I get up and do my hair, do my makeup, and to do stuff in the kitchen, I mean, it's something I do every day, and it's not like I want to get all dolled up to do it, versus, you know, like interviewing someone or having a long, lengthy kind of informational thing. But I will, when I'm feeling extra pretty, I've been working out a lot, I'll just kind of not worry about what I look like as much. So I'm not going to plug it in yet. I'm going to take the top off. And what I do here, I take the jars out because I seem to spill a little bit all the time. You're not supposed to get this wet. So I don't want to spill any milk in there while I'm doing it. So let me, actually, I should have stirred it one more time. I don't even think I'm that perfect about it usually, but okay. So then I'm going to, let's see if you can see what I'm doing. Can you see what I'm doing? Let me move this over a little bit. Okay, so here's all the jars. There we go. And I'm going to start to pour. I always go less than more because that way I don't run out. And I'm doing a little bit messier today. Sorry about that. Let's see. We can see. There we go. Alright. Here. As you can see, I don't do it all the way to the top, like I said, because you're going to have glue that's going to form on the top, so don't feel bad, like, oh, I don't have enough to fill my jars. Even if one jar is a little bit shorter, I notice it doesn't really make a difference at all. I'm just so grateful that when I'm done making this, it comes out so nice and thick, and I mean thick enough to be yogurt for sure. And then, like I said, I'll strain it and use it for like a sour cream kind of thing, Greek yogurt sour cream kind of thing. And this worked out perfect. It all went through nice. Just take a towel here and wipe down this one that's a little messy on the outside, so I don't ruin this thing here. This yogurt maker that does not like to get wet on the inside, it says not to. And because that's just a little bit still wet, well, let me put this over here. I guess this is alright. So, and now, can you see that? Yeah. I'm going to put the jars in here. Let's try not to make a mess as I'm showing you here. I mean, this is so easy. Ordinarily, like when I get something in, I'll be really nervous when I've been new to all these apparatuses, and I'll just take a deep breath, sit down and read the booklet. And I've done this so many times, just like baking bread, I've done so many times. I should do that with you too, but now I'm really lazy because I use bread machine. But I don't know, everybody's showing neat things that are easy, so I think I'll do that too. So I put the cover on and I plug it in. I paid like $15 for this on sale at HSN. I'm really lucky with sales. Of course, after the interest thrown it on my card, I can imagine it's probably $150. But turn it on, and believe it or not, that's it. And I set a timer for 12 hours because it's a 2% milk. Well, I do 12 hours for 2% milk. It could be 12 hours for 1%, and then 11 hours for 2%, and then like 10 for whole milk, something like that. But that's what I do for 2% milk. With your yogurt maker, it'll tell you probably, or you can just Google it. So it's really easy. So, geez, maybe I can bring you back with me in the morning. That's kind of a lot. Yeah, I will do that, actually. I'll just have to kind of go to my my Apple, and use iMovie, and I'll show you what it looks like tomorrow after it comes out, all right? So I'll bring you back in tomorrow.